Fish on. Little keeper. Off the Scarecrow.
Off the Scarecrow. Hey, I'm Bob Murray, Delaware Valley Outdoors. We're fishing up here with Pete Gluszek. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. All right. Right off the Scarecrow.
Nicely done. He's in my trawler. Get out of there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey, Delaware Valley Outdoors. I'm up here in Maine with Pete Gluszek, catching largemouth with a front coming through off of grass beds.
Do we have a better day to fish out here, or what, or a better lake for that matter?
Pete, explain again what we had here and how you caught that fish off of this.
Well, this is awesome what we have right here. We've still got some fog burning. We've got a front that's going to be coming through this afternoon. These fish know it, and we've got a lot of wind pushing in here on this grass bed. And boy, it's tough it's tough to beat when you've got wind coming in on a cove and a grass bed, a spinnerbait, northern chunky Maine bass. I mean, this is where it's at. This is a great pattern.
And one of the things that we're in Maine, but everybody thinks smallmouth in Maine, but we're catching largemouth.
Well, this is Lake Havasu, and it's probably the largemouth capital of Maine. There's very common to catch 7-pounders out of this lake, and you just wouldn't think about that coming this far north that you can catch fish of that magnitude.
Right.
But it's got chunky, healthy largemouth bass.
Right. And they hit like smallmouth.
And they do. They fight like smallmouth. They hit like smallmouth. We like that.
Yeah. Well, let's get back on this grass bed.
Let me show you how to tune this. A lot of times when you get tangled or snagged on the bank or you catch a nice fish, they're going to bend a light wire spinnerbait. And I like a light wire spinnerbait. It has a lot of vibration. And what I'm going to show you how to do is tune it. And you should be able to see how out of alignment this spinnerbait is. The arm is to my left, to your right. It's out of whack. And what's happening is it's starting to roll and it's starting to run sideways. And I'm simply just going to bend it in the opposite direction, and try to get that spinnerbait realigned. And we're right about dead on right there. And you want to have your arm and your shaft and the hook all in a vertical alignment. And when you get that, your spinnerbait's going to run true every time.
And when the bass hits it, that's when they twist it like that.
That's right. Well, these are aggressive fish. I mean, when they eat a spinnerbait, they want to kill it, and then they jump. And the last one just tried to eat the trolling motor, and they bend it every which way they can. And you just got to pay attention to it, and if it's not running right, you're not going to get the bites.
Right.
So you got to get that spinnerbait tuned so you can get it back out there working for you.
That's it.
Nice one. Awesome.
These fish that's a fighting little fish.
They dig. They think they're smallmouth.
Yeah.
They're largemouth with a smallmouth heart.
Yeah. Come here, you little devil. That's a better fish. Come here. Oh. There you go. A chunky fish.
Yeah.
They chunky. Look at that.
See, that's so neat about these northern fish, and they have that short growing season, and I don't know what that does other than the fact that it makes them thick. They're thick all the way down to the tail. They're just healthy fish.
Right. Yeah. They got that look to them. That's a nice. Look at that color of that fish. That is just nice. Again, Pete, right off a piece of structure here. We got
wind blowing on it. Grass beds on the outside.
Yep. Yeah. Came right off of this thing. I'm sure if we just keep fishing this, we'll get them more.
Well, let's find out. I'm going to have to go in here and see if there's another one on this dot. Fish on. He came off that line. These bass are hitting so funny, they're just tracking it all the way back to the boat before they get it. It always surprises me every time I get a bite.
Yeah, you're thinking that the fish would hit it, you know, with
Yeah.
that strike, and then.
Well, I was aiming for the, you know, every time there's a buoy like that, a mooring buoy. This is key on these types of bodies of water. When boats are moored like that, there's a big concrete anchor, and it's usually a good spot to catch a fish. And there's a rope attached to it, so you got vertical cover, you've got rock, and it's usually surrounded by grass. And I threw to there, but the fish didn't hit until I must have pulled him off of that anchor, and he didn't hit till he was within 10 feet of the boat.
Yeah, and it's something how they're following a bait way more than they should.
They are. But that's all right.
Yeah, that's all
If
right.
they want to hit it on the first 2 cranks, they want to hit it on the last 2, I don't care.
Yeah, we'll take it.
There he is. Oh, it's a good one. Maybe not as good as I thought, but it's still good.
Looks like a good one. Do we have a mooring pattern going here?
I don't know. They got something going on there. Anywhere around a mooring buoy seems to be nice fish. That's a nice, almost 2-pound bass.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Ooh. We got a spinnerbait pattern going.
Yeah.
We know that. The way he hit, he must have dug into a weed clump, but he doubled my rod over. I thought, whoa.
Pete, let's just talk a little bit about, you said a spinnerbait pattern. Give the people at home an idea what they should be looking for and trying to develop a pattern. I know we get the wind, and go for that.
Well, you know, wind is key, and it's the magic ingredient. Anytime you have wind, you have to start thinking about a spinnerbait pattern. There's something about the low light that's created under the surface when the wind, because when the wind blows, actually the light underneath the water surface becomes very low, and the fish respond extremely well to a spinnerbait during those conditions. And what you're going to be looking for is, a lot of people don't like to fish in the wind. And let me tell you, when that wind's blowing, it drives the bite. It'll drive bait fish up to the bank. It'll drive, it drives all the phytoplankton, and all the bait fish come in to eat that, and the bass come in after that bait, and the wind-blown banks and points. You need some help up here?
Yeah, just get that.
The wind-blown banks and points, they're just, that's what you want to key on. You want to, if you see points and on a windy day and they're protected, they're on the lee side of the bank, you know, they're not so hot. They're not the best points. You want to look for points and grass beds that are in the wind, that are in the face of the wind. The only time the wind can be a real detriment to you is when it's blowing so hard that it discolors the water.
And muddies it up.
Muddies it up.
Yeah.
And when that happens, the bass don't really like it. They won't, and the bait fish don't like it. They don't go in there to feed. It's too bad. But this is a nice breeze we have here today. I mean, we're dealing with about 10-mile-an-hour wind. It's not changing the water color. It's blowing in on these grass beds, and we're catching a lot of fish.
And one other thing, when you saw us wiggling around here, you need a good trolling motor to keep you going in the right direction.
Absolutely. These 36-volt trolling motors are just, they're key in the wind. And that's one of the things, a lot of guys, they underpower their boats. And that's why they don't like to fish in the wind, because they don't have a powerful enough trolling motor to be able to move into the face of it.
Right.
And
they're always
that's
struggling all day
I
long.
advise everybody, never underpower when it comes to a trolling motor. If your boat can handle a 36-volt system, put the max on there. Get 101 pounds of thrust, or whatever it is. Even if you have a 12-foot boat, get the maximum pound thrust that your boat can handle. And that'll really help you be a better wind fisherman.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into that
Yeah,
wind.
let's do it. Oh, fish on. Did you get one too?
Yeah. No, you came across me.
There he is.
I just want to say that as a trained professional, Pete just said, I got my senses tingling. I think something's going to happen. And we both
Sure
were in the
enough.
same spot, and boom, we catch
Boom,
it.
there they are.
You had your senses
That's
tingling.
right. I got to listen to those spider senses. This is a classic point up here on one of our natural lakes. We've got a nice wind blowing right across it. We've got some grass beds, and we've got a rocky point. And this makes a great spot in these conditions for a couple different reasons. The wind's really pushing on it, and it's pushing all that plankton up there. The bait fish are driven up there, but the point actually will make a little current break. So as the bait fish are feeding up here, they're going to get washed and pushed down around that point, and it just makes a great little ambush place for a bass, both smallmouth and largemouth. You know, especially with Havasu, which has a great population of both fish. You know, we're likely to catch either species along here.
Yeah, and again, you got a lot of ambush points here for these rocks and stuff like that, and it'll hold for the bait fish too, that keeps them going.
You got it's a complicated structure: rocks, weeds, and wind. You can't go wrong.
No.